Lost to the Light, an original psychological horror tale illustrated in comic form by Hafsa Khan, Class 8S7. The Unexplained Rule. In Viren's town, midnight carried a sinister stillness that leaned against the windows like it wanted to listen in. People never talked about it. No rumors, no explanations, just the rule. Be asleep before 12 and pretend that was normal, even when the silence felt like a quiet menace settling over every house. He never questioned any of it until Leo disappeared, and the quiet suddenly felt personal in an ominous way he could not name. After that, the rule felt like a warning that arrived a moment too late. Sometimes he still thinks about that faint ultraviolet smear on his window, the one that looked like something brushed past with an eerie touch. Nightmare Rising. Before the nightmare started, it was just a hot summer afternoon with sunbeams catching on the collapsing pillow fort. "You're doing it wrong." Leo never used the door when he could climb through the window, fearless, direct, somehow always exactly where he wanted to be, slipping in with a kind of soft mischief rather than menace. The two of them built little inventions that made sense to no one else, but to them it was enough that they worked. When Viren woke trembling at night, Leo stayed. He never made a big deal out of it, he just stayed. Daylights fail. Viren never remembers this part the same way twice. Sometimes there was a knock, sometimes a text, sometimes nothing at all. Memory can be derisive when it feels like it. Leo looked pale, frightened, like the world had shifted under him. His voice shook with a kind of urgency he never used unless something was really wrong. Viren told him to sleep. He told himself everything was fine, that fear could not forebode anything real at this hour. Leo was gone by dawn, no prints in the grass, no sound in the night, just an ultraviolet smear hanging in the air, like it had been waiting for someone to notice. Quiet broken. After Leo vanished, the dreams began to twist. They repeated in pieces, broke apart, shoved him awake with his face damp against the pillow. Each night weighed with something ominous he couldn't shake. Some nights the room tilted in ways that made no sense, as if the walls were trying to shift into another shape, the air buzzing with a subtle menace. Other times his reflection smiled too late, like it needed an extra second to remember what it was supposed to do. The delay always felt faintly eerie. He swears once he saw Leo standing in the yard at 3 a.m, completely still. It might have been grief, or it might have been something else moving through the darkness with a steady, quiet, sinister calm. The Shadow Hunt. In class one day, time simply slipped. One blink and everything felt 1 second off, a shift that carried a strange, ominous weight. He blinked again and found himself inside the old pillow fort. Leo was older now, 17, rebuilding it quietly like nothing strange was happening. "You didn't finish it, so I had to." His eyes carried an ultraviolet glow that made Viren feel small, the light shimmering with a soft, eerie pulse. "You always leave me halfway." Then the moment snapped apart, reality just crumbled, and he was back in his chair, gasping like he had fallen from somewhere tall. The memory maze. When he woke with scratches on his arms, shaped like fingerprints, he understood something dreadful, a realization that settled in with unmistakably sinister certainty. "Leo, I'm sorry." He whispered it like a confession, barely loud enough for the dark to hear, the air holding a faintly eerie stillness. Midnight hit. A beam of ultraviolet light slid into the room, sharp and focused, carrying a quiet menace he could feel on his skin. He stepped outside and followed the path only the broken sequence seemed to understand. Descent. At the end of the empty road stood the lighthouse from Leo's dream, glowing with a pulse that made the trees look like they were breathing, the glow strangely ominous and beautiful. Inside, the air felt alive. The stairs bent like they were folding themselves, and the wall shifted as if responding to his footsteps, each movement carrying a faint, sinister intention. A whisper brushed his ear. "Wake up!" Leo's voice, familiar and distant, threaded through the room with an eerie warmth. The higher he climbed, the more the world loosened around him, shapes slipping into static, like they were forgetting how to exist. The late warning. Something's coming for me in the empty space. Then the vision split apart, breaking the memory of a younger Leo holding a flickering flashlight, the sound sharp with something ominous underneath. And beyond the last door, the one that folded like thin paper, someone waited for him. The moment tinged with faint, eerie anticipation. The lighthouse walls pulsed with a heartbeat that didn't belong. Leo? He should have listened. Leo's voice had told him that long before the dreams broke, but the echo inside the light was something else entirely. Some say he ran away, some say he followed Leo, but on certain nights at exactly midnight, an eerie glow returns to the forest road. Two voices whisper. One says, "Wake up," and the other answers, faint, breaking, "Leo?"